I make my amends by the way that I live.
Right.
You know,
Right.
I have to live this certain way to connect, one, amend with myself, the inner child or whatever you want to call it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that inside person that I've harmed my entire life through my ego, through my fear, through dysfunction, through self-mutilation, all those things. I have to make amends to that too, because all those debts are spiritual debts. And spiritual debt leads to darkness, and darkness is the path to the dark side. like all that kind of stuff, you know. And I think there is a process, and you'll find that as you make these amends, they're generally well received. Like
Generally.
I cannot get a dog to, doesn't matter who the dog could hate everybody. I can't get a dog to not love me. They will not leave, right? Like animals will not leave me alone because they know that I maybe like they can sense that there's nothing they can do that would make me harm them.
That they're safe.
They're safe.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's the amends that I'm willing to make.
Mm-hmm. Well, I really like you touch on there, like living amends and amends to ourselves, and I think that, you know, the amends to myself are living amends, and and let me just clarify, like living amends are basically like a new way of living our life that is so different from how we used to live, right? That it can only be quantified in such a way that I'm doing this to treat myself better, or because I'm now a much better person than I used to be. And so,
everything I do is a demonstration to myself that I'm sincere about this way of life.
Yeah, beautiful, beautiful, very well said. And so, when we talk about living amends, like I think of a few things. Like one of the things that I think my sponsor brought up to me. I want to say it was like Mother's Day or Father's Day. I can't specifically remember which one it was, because I think we revisited the same thing for both of those instances. But it was the idea that we make amends to our parents, right? Mm-hmm. And granted, like I just talked about, like making financial amends to my dad, and I had financial amends that I had to make to my mother as well. But what I was able to do for my parents, like this far down the road, where all those sort of amends have been addressed and taken care of, is to now absolve them from any responsibility, right? It is not their fault that this happened to me.
Right.
That I turned out to be this way, or that I had to go through that part of my life, because as a parent, I'm sure that it was really easy for them to say, this is because of me. Right. This is because of something I did. So for me to tell these parents, you know, my mom and my dad, like, this is everything that happened with me is not your fault. And I want you to know that the way I'm going to choose to live the rest of my life is in such a way that you'll no longer have to worry about me. Ooh. Like you did.
Yeah.
You know, and to do that for my parents was probably more,
what a gift,
powerful than any sort of financial amends I could have given them. And so those are the living amends that I make each day. I choose to live this way of life. So because first of all, I'm worth it. Mm-hmm. And because second of all, like, I've already put those people who care and love about me through enough hell. I don't want to do it anymore.
Yeah.
And I shouldn't do it anymore. And so I'm going to be my best me, so that they know that not only do they not have to worry about me, but they can count on me. They can rely on me. They can come to me for advice. And they might even want to take some of the advice I have to offer. Like, And that was definitely not how things used to be.
Yeah.
Right? Like, it used to be just so different, and it could be again. You know, if I choose to give into that particular part of myself.
Yeah.
You know. So
Yeah, that living amends with our loved ones, man. I'm getting a little bit choked up thinking about a couple. You know, because I was such a fuck.
mm-hmm.
You know, just such a fuck, man. You know, my brother in particular, I have one brother, and I think he did the best he could with me, you know, but I was a tough
older brother, right?
one older brother.
Older
Yeah.
brother.
I'm the youngest. I was such a little fuck, you know, as a kid, there was an age gap to the point where he was like doing other stuff. I wanted to follow along, but I was also just a pain in the ass, really. Mm-hmm. You know, and he was into some things that I was a little different than me. He was a lot more progressed than I was. And so I would just kind of tag along, and a couple things in particular. You know, he bought a bass guitar, this BC Rich bass guitar. And at one point, while I was in my gangster phases, you know, me and a couple of my friends went over to his house and stole it, went and pawned it. You know, he found out, didn't go well. And then
He didn't like that.
he didn't like that very much.